Riot podcast time, friends.
Hello.
Pay attention.
Please pay attention.
Please.
Please is very important to add to that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like, just please pay attention.
Hopefully you enjoy to everything that you're about ready to pay attention to.
So we finally decided, I actually left our discussion of it out of the podcast since we, made our choice.
Sure.
Tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, Obadiah Plays Extended Edition.
Opie's going to be playing a game for you through our Facebook pages so you can hang out with him during your work lunchtime.
Nobody's working.
Count it as your meeting or your class time during the day. It'll make you look busy.
You know what? Let's call this your phys ed class.
Yeah, something.
Dude, that's something that I keep hearing from people that are like, yeah, I got to do a phys ed class, so I went for a walk today. Boom. Gym class, done. Did gym class.
So that'll be on our Facebook pages. Depending on when you're listening to it, it's tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the 22nd. And if you follow us at RadioU or RadioU Riot, either Facebook page, you can hang out there.
All right. So let's see. In the podcast today, we talk about robot lawnmowers, Quibi. Domino's Boba.
It's a new pizza in Japan.
It is. What the southern states are up to. Tom Brady, Batman. Tom Brady is not Batman.
No, Tom Brady got in trouble in Tampa. And Batman, there's details on the movie, the new Batman one.
Yeah. It's making more switches and pulling your own teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So that ought to keep you busy for a little while.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoy everything we put in the podcast for you today.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go home today and make sure that I'm all set and ready.
Ready to go for tomorrow?
Some Obadiah Plays streaming tomorrow.
So you guys get set and ready by following us on Facebook. And then don't forget to text and say hello. A lot of you guys are texting throughout the entire day. I even see them when they come in at nighttime.
Yes.
So you're welcome to text us. Just put that you're a podcast listener and your name and say hello. And it's not even a bother if you're a few podcasts behind and you have a question about something. You can still text us at 877-2-RADIO-U, and then we'll get that.
No problem.
No problem at all.
All right. Well, you guys have a great
day.
Whatever you got there. And we'll see you later. Bye.
What you're about to hear will live on the internet forever. Sorry, Internet. The worst of the Riot podcast.
At our front desk, we claim to have a thermometer.
I don't know anymore.
I think it's actually just a random number generator.
You think so?
I think what you do is you squeeze the trigger and it just spits out a number. And what you do with it is you just stand there and keep squeezing the trigger until you get a number that you kind of like. And then you just move on.
I started this morning with 90.5 twice, and I am not 90.5. So I eventually got a good number.
90.5, isn't that our frequency in...
Well, congratulations.
Maybe that's what it does. It just cycles through our frequencies.
It could. It pulls up our random Radio U stations across the country and like, here, today you will be such and such.
That seems totally reasonable to me.
It does.
That would be something that we have. But yeah, I just think it's funny that we have this thermometer. We're supposed to check our temperature before we start, so we know if we have a fever, which we don't. And we're never going to.
I have never cracked above a certain point on that thermometer. We are constantly low.
What's the highest you've seen?
98.3.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I think so.
I don't
like
think
once.
I don't think. Well, okay. I was going to say I haven't cracked 97, but there was the other day where I was just walking through and I was like, you know what? What's a middle of the day temperature look like?
Yeah.
And I got a 97.1.
Ooh,
I was like, whoa.
You're a little warmer. Sometimes it gets like 95s, 96s.
Every morning.
And I know that they say temperatures, like for us, we never took temperatures before unless you were sick when you were younger.
Yeah.
But I think from all this temperature taking, people are realizing we're not a traditional temperature anymore.
Well, okay.
So they say, like, when we get a fever, our fever would be lower than what a person who had a normal temperature would be.
Well, I think there's that, and here's something that once you go past that whole thing where, you only go to the doctor like once every 10 years, like once a doctor puts you on a medicine, which is like, I have stuff that I take every day, that's when you begin to realize that I feel like the majority of the medical field is really them guessing. They're just like, you know what, we'll give you...
A lot like the thermometer every day.
They're just like, hey, we'll give you this, and I don't know, we'll see.
Well, I don't know anymore, because I do know that there's a few of you guys who also have to take your temperature that you tell us, like, hey, you're lower as well on this thermometer thing. So does
We're all
anybody?
just a bunch of cold-blooded people
does
now.
anybody have a traditional normal temperature, body temperature?
What is normal supposed to be 98.6? Is that right?
I think so. It's around that.
Yeah, okay.
Most of us don't see that. So, yay!
I know 95 is like a dead body, so...
Well, it's supposedly, but you clocked in at 95 something one day.
Oh, every morning.
And you're fine?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, we think I'm fine. You know, it could explain a lot of things.
It's just hard when you're sitting there, you're taking it, 2 times it's 1, and then third time it's like, oh, there it is. That's the actual reading.
See? Random number generator. Squeeze the trigger till you get a number you want.
The Riot with Obadiah and Nikki on RadioU.
Stimulus checks. Lots of people talking about it. And I realize that, as we have said, for some people, this has been like free money and they've been shopping spreeing. And then other people, they're like, hey, I need to buy a can of beans because I'm out of money.
Yeah, it's been to help supply that to your account. And then for others, it might be a little combination of both.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking at right now.
An email of someone trying to sell you something?
Well, Nikki, how familiar...
To spend your stimulus check on it?
How familiar are you with the Husqvarna?
What's the Husqvarna?
The Husqvarna auto mower?
No, what is that?
It is an electric lawnmower that is a, what do you call it? It's a Roomba for your lawn.
It mows itself?
Yeah, and it is conveniently priced just under the stimulus check amount.
I think that's amazing.
$1,185.
It looks like there's a couple of versions of it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, you want a walking?
It's normally $1,600, but now it's just right.
I don't know. As someone who I have a Roomba and it works well, but it has its own little quirks. They all do. And I wouldn't want to find out what those are outside.
It mows in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
It cuts grass up to 3.6 inches high. I don't even, whatever. It mows up to 0.4 acres. No noise, no fuss.
No, nothing?
It's electric. So you just...
Dun, 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 dun. What is it?
Electric.
And it's like $1,300, you said, or $1,200?
You can't hear it. It's electric. Mowy, mowy, mowy.
There it goes into your neighbor's yard.
That's what I'm thinking is like everything's fun and games until your neighbor comes over and they're just like, my kid doesn't have a leg anymore because your mower ate them.
It's not going to be like that, but I just wonder how nice it would look.
I don't know.
Because, again, my inside Roomba misses some spots. So, because it likes to just spin around.
What?
It doesn't always like to,
Really?
Well, I mean.
They have one?
Well, what do you mean?
It's like, so you've seen one of these in action?
No,
I've never seen
my
one.
inside Roomba, my vacuum one.
Oh, I was like, dude, I've never seen somebody use one of these before.
I have never seen one.
So this says that if you wait till Black Friday, a lot of times they're $1,000. So
I'd have to look at reviews. I think, if you really want something fun, I think a riding lawnmower is more fun.
Oh, well, I concur with that.
Might as well for that price. Might as well just sit down and drive.
I don't know. I think isn't like a seating lawn? Isn't that expensive?
A riding one?
Riding.
It's probably about the same price.
No way. It's got to be more than that. Oh, $12.99?
Look at that.
Are you telling me?
And it's electric.
Dude, if you guys saw how big my lawnmower is, you'd be like, why are you even, what? What does it take, 5 minutes? You go 2 stripes, like you're done. Like, why are you even thinking about it?
It's about the prestige of it, all right? It's about having something.
Between that and the hill I have in my backyard, which my whole house is built on the side of a mountain, I would just be like...
That thing would fall off the cliff and you'd never see it again.
I would never see it again.
So I don't think this is for us. But if you are really into lawn care and you love doing your lawn, then this could be something.
Well... That may be, but I'll just tell you this. I'm really enjoying watching what happens when you just hand people $1,000.
The things that people start to promote.
the things that seem suddenly like a good idea, like, yeah.
You're like, you don't even have a lawn. You're in an apartment, and you still end up getting one.
Anyway, like, I'm doing my part here in the apartment complex to keep the common areas mowed.
You send it out, or you're just waiting. You just buy it to wait for one day when you've got your own place.
Oh, my gosh.
What's worse than the worst of the riot? The worst of the riot podcast. Yeah, you did this to yourself. Podcast. Riot. RadioU.
Last night I got curious, so I spent some time reading about the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic that we keep hearing.
Well, people reference it with this stuff. Yes.
You know what? I think it's kind of worth reading about. If you don't know very much about it, it is, because what it did for me was I feel like it just opened this whole thing up. Have you ever gone to a class where they've actually, you know what, scratch that. It's anytime you get context on something, it blows it open a little bit for you. So I was watching last night, I was talking to someone who watched, what is it, on Amazon, the dress, Make the Cut. It's like the new fashion show.
The fashion show, okay.
Okay, so at the end of each show, somebody gets a chance to sell their item on Amazon, and they sell out immediately. And I look at that, and it's like, hey, anytime we put context around something, it doesn't become a shirt anymore. It's like the shirt that
From
was
the
designed,
show.
and I got to be a part of it and all that. And I feel like reading about the pandemic of 100 years ago has given this a totally different context for me, because what you'll see is that, one, the measures that were taken to try to stop that pandemic, like completely the same, which that's because as human beings, the way we spread disease hasn't changed, right? And the public reaction, it's the same.
Isn't that funny?
It's the same. It is like, it's the same arguments being repeated. It's this, like, it is spot on the same reaction. And I don't know why, but there was some comfort in that, because I was like, oh, yeah, here we are.
Well, for us, I mean, none of us have ever gone through anything like this. So
Never.
I feel like there's this mystery of like what's coming or what we're currently going through, or the unknown. So if you go back and look at when it actually happened another time and see the similarities, you can kind of track along with it. Or
yes. And it's given me a little bit, honestly, a little more respect for the people in charge, because what they're trying to do, or I mean, maybe it's the shadow government and the lizard people are trying to prepare us to be eaten. I don't know. But my read on it...
Let's put that one to the side. I don't know if we're going to go with that.
Could be a possibility. I don't know. But looking at this in context, you can see where what they're trying to do is they really are trying to prevent that from happening again. And so they're putting these things in place, and they're making very unpopular decisions based on what they have tried to learn from the last time we went through something like this. And it's interesting to see all the same arguments that people are upset about, same thing. And in cities and states where they gave into some of those arguments, like the death numbers are way higher than to the places that weren't. And so, I don't know. I feel like I get it a little bit more having read up on it. And you know what?
That's a heavy reading. So maybe pick the right moment if you're curious and you want to read about that part of our history.
Well, if you want to know the truth, I actually did avoid some of the graphic details, but I just wanted to know, like, okay, they keep referencing this. I really don't know that much about it. And I did it. Let's be clear. I didn't take a class on it.
Sure.
You know, I read a few articles about it last night to get a broad-based picture. And I was fascinated by it. So might be you got nothing else going today.
I don't know, though. I still think pick the right moment for that one.
Oh, you know what?
Unless you think it'll make people feel a little bit better because you understand it a bit more.
That's the effect that it had on me, is that you guys know depression, whatever. It didn't make me more depressed. It made me go, oh, yeah, I feel like I get this now a little bit better than I did before I did this reading. If you don't think it will have that effect on you, don't read about it. But for me, it had a calming effect.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on RadioU.
Thanks, everybody, for texting and talking about what we should do for a Riot after show. Jen wants us to get some more artists to come and hang out.
Oh, yeah, because we had Mike Maines in the Branches last week. That's a good idea.
Katie wants us to play Mario Kart.
We've played that before, but I think a return could happen.
Yeah, Keith says that we should play a board game and get Pandemic to play.
Is that the one you could... Which is the one you could print out? Cards Against Humanity.
That was Cards Against Humanity.
That's that one.
Like, they're free.
They have a free, like, printout version of it.
They do. So those are a couple of options. that were floating.
I guess we'll see what happens
out there.
Stay tuned to the Riot tomorrow or later this morning when we decide.
So, something that we could do is maybe we could all just get together and watch Quibi.
Quibi.
What is it? Do you know how to say it?
I think it's, well, now that you've given me the two options, I can't remember.
Those are
I think it's Quibi.
Quibi. But let's go with Quibi.
Yeah, okay. And if it's not, our apologies, but it's just not it's not staying in our radar.
No, it's not. So it launched 2 weeks ago. Essentially, it was 2 weeks ago yesterday.
Basically, it's a phone app, an entertainment phone app where normally you have entertainment apps that transcend all of the ways you can watch it. Like you can watch it on your TV, your fridge, your phone, your console, your whatever. This is really just for your phone.
So the idea is they have all these shows that are 10 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So you watch a 10-minute show because that's what you have time for. So instead of trying to squeeze in something that's 40 to 60 minutes on Netflix, you do 10 minutes on Quibi. Is that what we decided on?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Can't stop saying it because it makes it hard.
Right. So,
and then they would have a new episode each day.
They launched to much fanfare and a lot of advertising, but it is not going well.
You have to pay a certain amount of money, and then it has ads. And if you want to pay more, I think it's like 7 something, you then don't have ads.
Okay. Do you feel like that's what's holding people back?
I think so, because there's no like connection to any of the content. So they should have started off for free. And I know they're giving you like a 90-day trial, but
okay,
I think you need more than that. It should have just been free with maybe more premium content.
Everything I've heard said that the shows are no good.
Well, at 10 minutes, there's not enough to really reel you in.
No room to breathe.
I don't think so.
Well, that's the idea. Is like you just get like a little taste.
Listen, I don't need them telling me that 10 minutes is it. Okay, we can find certain things that are longer, certain things that are shorter. There's just nothing that seemed interesting on it.
Here's what I love about it is that I feel like
I'll show you.
On paper, it's perfect.
Sure.
It's perfect because what have we said so many times? Who has time for that? I'm just watching YouTube. So this is, quote unquote, TV for the YouTube generation.
Well, what's wrong, though, is they put this out on the wrong time because a lot of people are staying at home. You actually have time.
Well, Nikki, they didn't know that when they planned the launch.
They should have probably held it back.
I don't know.
But you get it, like, you're sitting in front of your TV maybe more than you would be watching something on your phone.
Absolutely. So they say that, the launch of it went okay, but once it launched, like, it is no longer in the top 50 app downloads for Android or iOS.
Ooh, ouch. And you're like, what's the big deal?
Not even in the top 50.
That's the only way to watch it. That's the only way to show, like, oh, it's not doing so great.
That means that if anybody was interested, they've downloaded it.
Yeah,
and no one else is downloading it. Yikes. That right there, that's enough to make me not even bother getting interested because it's over.
Well, I just think companies need to realize we have a lot of offerings already, and I don't know if we want much more at this point. I want to get through my shows. I don't want to sign up for anything else.
I say that, and then I'm like, sure, I'll do a free trial.
Well, you didn't even do this one, though.
No, I actually didn't. I mean, if you can't get me to do your free trial.
3-month trial.
We really have a problem.
I think it's just not connecting with people. They needed a space show.
Yes. Where is your space show, guys?
10-minute space show every day.
10 minutes of space.
One day it's like, oh, still climbing. Still trying to get into space.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Nikki said we need more space shows on Quibi.
No, I thought, well, maybe that would get you interested in it.
Well, I did. This is how you know that the world is in crisis. I finished an entire show in less than a week.
You did?
Yeah, I finished For All Mankind last night.
And what's the verdict after the 10 episodes?
Even though I feel like they had some real legit bumps. There's episode 7. It was just like, what are we doing? Come on.
Well, they were just filling up the episodes.
By the time it wrapped up, I very much enjoyed it.
Back on it?
Yes, like I enjoyed it a great deal. And some of those, like the last episode was an hour and 20 minutes. So I appreciate the fact that I don't know, it's like feature quality. I just loved it. So it's free on Apple TV Plus.
Yep.
Right now, they've got 10 shows that are free. I'll tell you something else, Nikki. If you're looking for space shows, the Sci-Fi Channel.
What are they doing?
Well, they got 2 things going this week.
I guess I forget Sci-Fi's even
that it exists.
Still exists and doesn't just run like disaster weather movies.
I mean, they do that too.
I know, but normally that's the only time people are really talking about it.
Well, they're trying to harken back to their glory days, which would be Battlestar Galactica. And so they are running a nonstop marathon of that. It started sometime yesterday, and it goes all the way until like the middle of Thursday. And then they're going to start running not nonstop, but on certain days at certain times, they're going to run a Xena marathon.
Xena?
Warrior Princess.
Okay.
And they'll have that set up so that every, like if you watch on the certain days, you know, you'll be
They'd be in order?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that way
I wonder if that's because we're starting to feel they have no newer content, or they're going to wait on their newer content. So they're going to take this time while a lot of people are staying at home to offer these marathons.
Well, probably. The thing that I, again, thought about last night, they were talking about like, well, you know, we're stopping production on this and on that and on whatever. And I just thought, yeah, you know, we've been making TV shows for like, what, 80 years now? I'll bet we could find something to watch. Like, and it would seem really new to us.
Yeah, because these are older shows.
All we got to do is just start looking for something, and you'll be fine. Like, just find something.
Well, if you're interested in that, you're like, oh, what's this? They're going to do some marathon stuff.
I also heard there's this new network starting up that their shows are 10 minutes at a time, and there's a new one every day.
No one wants to watch that.
Nobody.
Unless someone is, and that's great, and that's fine, but it doesn't seem like it.
Somebody's like, oh, we reached the end of the internet. You can do what Nikki and I do, and that is you end up like start watching foreign shows. Yeah,
you just go to different countries. They're offering some amazing things, and then it's like a whole new well that you can get into.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to have different standards and ideas. And they have, like, to you, it'll seem new. They're like us. They tell every show's the same, but it's going to seem really different to you because their same is different to us.
Yeah, you just have to watch, though, like with British shows, because you'll get really
they're very
into
sad.
it. Well, it's always like, here's 3 episodes, and that's the whole season.
Yep.
And then you'll get some weird Christmas episode.
The whole show.
That's the whole thing. And they don't tell you that. They're just like, here's a season. And you think, well, maybe that is better. Then you don't have to go watch too much.
Low expectations.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised if you get 10 episodes out of it.
Whee!
So every country's different, but there's tons to keep us busy.
We'll make it. But
there's tons to keep us busy before we go watching Sci-Fi Channel.
Hey, man, Battlestar still, I don't know if it holds up, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, but you need to go watch that again then.
To see if it holds up?
Yeah, to see what it's like.
I should.
The whining, the loathing, the insightful commentary on postmodern historical doctrine. Okay, maybe not the last one. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
How would you feel if we went ahead and ruined a pizza for you?
You guys want that?
What if we just go ahead and take a pizza and just ruin it?
I don't know. I like the 2 things. So how bad can it be if you combine them together?
It can be bad.
No.
It can.
No.
Like, for example, I love peanut butter and ketchup.
I'm sure somewhere someone's like, that's delicious.
Oh.
It's creamy and salty all in one.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
Well, I mean, if you go to Japan, traditionally the pizza flavors there are a little bit different than ours, and this is no exception.
Yeah, they are offering at Domino's Japan a pizza covered in boba.
So tapioca, which is what boba is. You know, like, if you ever had a boba drink.
Boba tea.
It's the little bubbles at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
It's all over the pizza. All over it.
So does that mean, but those can be different flavored, right?
They can, and technically they're not really flavored unless you add the flavor.
Right.
It's about just having the texture.
So, but these are authentic tapioca. So you're getting...
These are just the plain ones, I think.
You're getting tapioca. No, it says authentic tapioca.
Which is just the normal normal basic flavor without other stuff adding to it.
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
That's the basic one.
Okay, so they are, I think the argument would be, quote unquote, or like what they say is that the boba takes on the characteristic of whatever
flavor.
you put around it.
Exactly.
So then maybe this would be little explosions of pizza flavor?
Probably just cheese. I didn't catch this, but in Japan last year and closer to the end of it and the start of this year, boba tea really took off. Boba tea is more popular in, let's say, China or even like South Korea or here, but there it took off.
Wait, it took off where?
In Japan.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought it would have already have been something there, but no.
I have a tendency to count the Pacific Rim together when it comes to food options.
Nope, it was different. So it really became popular last year. So Domino's is kind of jumping off that. But Japan is also under some pretty strict stay-at-homes at this point. So boba tea, going out and just getting boba tea is not as convenient as it was. So Domino's thought, well, we'll put it on a pizza, which delivery for pizza is still going strong.
So this is... This
is
the answer.
This is the way to
This is the one.
Yeah, you can still get your boba fix without going out, and you can still stay at home.
Oh, no.
No, it's not going to try it?
No.
So it's the tapioca pearls, very chewy on top of a thick layer of mozzarella cheese, and that's your pizza.
I mean, you know what? I suppose if you handed it to me, like, for example, onions are, like, non-negotiable, but if you handed me a piece of this, I might be like, well...
Could be.
I'll try it.
It is limited. It started yesterday. And you also get, Japan, you'll also get a sauce packet with stuff. You'll get, that's just pretty common with things. This comes with a packet of maple syrup. If you want to put it on the pizza or not. You know what that
says to me? That just says that, you know what? That's what we need to do for our...
to try this pizza?
That's what we need to do for our RIOT after show is we need to forget about the boba. We just need to get a pizza and dip it in maple syrup.
It's probably good.
I guess. I mean, I would absolutely try it.
So if you guys are bored, just plan for this weekend. And if anybody's doing cheese pizza, take cheese pizza. If you have the boba tea or the bobas, the tapioca, then use that. If not, try maple syrup.
Oh, gosh. That's just
something
all kinds
about that, right?
All kinds of wrong.
Your mind's churning, going, wait, I don't think we're supposed to have this.
All kinds of wrong.
Obadiah and Nikki tried their hardest, and that's what really matters. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Can I tell you something that I genuinely love about a relationship with God? Do you know that with God, you do not have to pretend? You can be honest. Now, I've said that on the show lots of times, but I feel like now, at least for me, and I think for a lot of us, it's more important than ever. Because I think there's some pressure to lie to ourselves a little bit right now. Like, okay.
Since we have a lot of time with ourselves.
Well, circumstance is not great. And some of us facing serious disappointment. There are things that we have planned for potentially for years that in some cases are postponed and others they're just flat out canceled. Like it's not going to happen. And even when it's postponed, it's not going to be the same. And there is a well, let's be positive. Let's be whatever, let's put a positive spin on this. And I think there's a huge difference between saying this sucks, but I'm going to make the best of it. And just going, well, we're going to be positive. I'm going to lie about it. That's what I love about God, is that in my relationship with Jesus, I can be completely honest with God. I don't have to lie to him. I don't have to make anything up. I can be real with him. Now, does God often push me to make the best of it? Absolutely. It's true. But I've never had God say to me you know what? This is great. What are you talking about? Why? Of course, it's wonderful. It's great. No, I've never had God lie to me like that. And so this is what I want you to know, is that if you right now are in the middle of just kind of hating what's going on, I want you to know that's okay. Now, I also think we need to remember that God actually promises that if we bring him into our life, that he can bring good things out of bad things. He's not saying the bad things aren't bad. The bad things are bad, but he can still make some good things happen for us. You see the difference there? I feel like it is a fine line But for somebody at least like me, that is a line that I must draw, and I have got to have that line there because I can't stand lying about things to myself or other people. So take some time and be honest with yourself. It's okay to hate the circumstances that you're in because of what's going on. That's okay. But don't let it consume you. Take it to God. Say, you know what, God, here's where I am. Like, I'm so frustrated. I'm so angry. I'm so scared. Whatever it is, pour it out. Talk to God about where you are and then say, hey, I need some help. And Jesus absolutely wants to get involved with you in your life where you are. Not to get you to lie to yourself, but I really do think that God can bring good things out of bad things if we let him get involved.
Where do you go when you need someone to listen to your problems and give you a big hug? Not here. Obviously, this is The Riot on RadioU.
Starting on Friday, if we head on down to Georgia, the riot went down to Georgia. They were looking for a gym to go to.
Well, I mean, that is the case. They're saying in Georgia they're going to have gyms open and you can get haircuts and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, this is a state-by-state thing.
I'm not quite to the haircut play. A lot of people are desperate for a haircut. I'm not quite there. Though when I looked in the mirror this morning, I was like, bro, you're getting a Wolverine-like craziness look in your face.
Everybody has it now, though.
I know. It's the thing.
It's the new look.
It's the new hotness.
And then you're supposed to do it yourself at your quarantine hair salon.
So gyms, bowling alleys, salons, barber shops, and another of other indoor facilities will be permitted to reopen.
But I'm sure they have to follow different rules.
Yeah.
They can't just reopen.
To quote Governor Kemp, it would not be business as usual as they still have to maintain social distancing. So I don't know how they're going to cut your hair.
Well, I mean, it's just in every other. So, like, you wouldn't schedule depending on the chairs.
You got to get cozy with your...
Oh, the person who's doing your hair. That is a good question.
I mean, how are you going to work that?
Well, you get some...
Plus, bowling alley, I hope you got your own shoes.
Well, those can be just gross as it is. So
I mean, aside from unidentifiable foot fungus, you may also be...
I don't know what all that will look like. And I guess if you're in Georgia, you'll have to tell us how some of that is.
Whoa. Okay, so they're in restaurants on April 27th. So that's next week. They're going to reopen restaurants. So you can go into a restaurant and eat.
I felt our other states feeling happy for a moment if they weren't paying attention to it. Again, we're talking about Georgia, not
just Georgia,
not your other states. Because for a moment, someone got really excited.
So Tennessee Governor Bill Lee said the same. Like they're doing something similar, but not exactly the same. So depending on your state,
sure.
South Carolina...
Yeah, liner.
I wanted to say South Carolina governor.
It works.
South Carolina down there never be opening some of them shops on the state.
Sure, we knew that was the governor.
They say that. Dude, why did they have to say this? Why? South Carolina, in a bid to not be stereotypical, lets you know that stores and flea markets.
Oh, they're opening?
Why did you have to put flea markets in there, guys?
Maybe that's a big thing in that area.
Florists, bookstores, and music shops are going to be allowed to reopen their doors sometime next week as well.
You really have to just watch what your state's doing. And I just wonder if it'll be a slow roll at first and then it all just goes back. Or are we really going to take our time and just make sure? And every area is different.
It totally is.
If you're in one city, it's not the same if you're in a small place here. You have to recognize, too, that one blanket rule is not for the entire place.
The thing that gets me, like, that in my own personal life, like, what's the biggest thing is the gym's not open. Mm-hmm. And I used to go to the gym, probably a minimum of 3 times a week. And I haven't been to the gym in... 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
Yeah,
it's
probably.
The longest I've gone without going to the gym, maybe ever. And so it has been a very strange thing for me. I know it's affected my mental health. It's certainly affected my physical health. But I'll have to say, I feel like I'm just scared enough that even if they reopen the gym, I don't think Like, I'm not ready to go back.
I think we have a little bit of time because, again, our
they're
area,
not doing that where we
our
are.
area has more people to where they're going to wait.
But that's been the question that I keep going back to myself. So that tells me it must be one of the largest effects on my life. Is I keep thinking,
gym?
like, if I got a call from Dr. Acton tomorrow and she was like, Obadiah, we're opening the gym, so you can go to Planet Fitness tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. We'll see you there. I would be like, okay, just save my spot.
I know, because I'm going to wait a few more weeks.
I'm probably just going to wait a little bit.
It depends on where you're going and what you're doing. All Obie knows is that he was able to go to the gas station to get his fountain drink.
Yes, I was.
You just can't get it refilled. But at that point, things are looking a little better, right?
Well, I'll tell you this. I got a fountain drink this morning. Mm-hmm. The whole point was I wanted to get butter so we'd have it for the bagels. And
you forgot that part, but you sure did get your soda.
I didn't get the butter.
That's okay.
But I definitely got a soda.
It's all right. You needed that soda.
Nikki, everybody's in different places right now.
I'm just eating a plain bagel at this point.
I think I'd like to have a bagel.
I didn't even toast it. Why bother?
What?
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Hi, guys.
Good morning. Hello.
How's it going? Are you obeying all of the stay-at-home orders? Because Tom Brady isn't.
Tom Brady got in trouble.
Tom Brady is busted, Nikki. He recently transferred to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, so he lives in Tampa now. And he's at least training there.
Which is like...
Well, I'm sure he has other homes. So it's not like the same where with us we would move and we would be living there. But he's just there right now.
Like if you move to a city for a job, you might be at like extended stay.
Something until to tide you over.
You get an apartment, but Tom Brady's just like, I got to go into town, buy a house, buy a few cars.
I think that is different for football players than most of us.
He's living in a different world than we are, but it's still connected to our world, adjacent to, and he has been fined by the mayor. Well, not by the mayor, but by the park staff.
Yeah, he's been cited. That park is closed down, but they still have staff that patrol it to make sure everybody's following the rules.
Yeah.
And he was in there working out.
Yeah,
So he got in trouble.
They saw him in there working out, so they went over. They
didn't know it was him, though.
They didn't.
Until they actually got over to the person.
And because even though he's Tom Brady, he still got a citation.
So a lot of public spaces, still across Florida and Tampa area are closed to visitors because of the restrictions, obviously, to stop things from spreading. There's been no comment back from the Buccaneers, but he was just cited.
He's busted.
Not arrested or anything, just cited.
Or close enough.
Close enough. Not quite.
Close enough.
You get a fine and you get a stern talking to.
Mm-hmm. So he just got, a fine. Give me a break. They're like, it's $1,000 fine. And he's like, oh, hang on. You got change for a $10,000 bill?
I wonder how much it is. I don't think it'd be anything that expensive.
It's probably, I'll bet it maybe a couple hundred at most.
And do you get fined if you get cited? Or if you just get cited, is that like a warning?
I think a citation is a fine.
I'm not sure.
Let's see. Ooh, we got to Google that. Is a citation a fine? Or maybe you're right.
Or are you fine and you get out of it until you do it again and then you got to pay?
Tickets and citations are documents that charge you with a violation. I guess it just depends. So maybe not.
We'll see.
Yeah. So.
Well, actually, no. There's no more to the story.
No, it's over. That's all.
Go any further than that. He was working out in the park. He should not be. Tom Brady lives there now, and he got in trouble. He got cited. That's it. That's all the story is.
Whee!
There won't be any other update.
That's it. Nikki and I are going to be on assignment. We're headed to Tampa after the show.
We must find out more about this.
The Riot, not everyone's fan.
I wonder whose idea this was.
RadioU.
Let's see a show of hands of how many people have been living for Sparkly Batman.
Sparkly Batman?
Yeah.
You mean Robert Pattinson? I think based on the couple of pictures we've seen, it seems like he can look like the Batman.
It's, Nikki, I look like Batman if you put the mask on me.
It's true if you're wearing the suit that they make.
Yeah.
The suit looks like the Batman.
I mean, there you go. I mean, I'll probably need something to, let's say, pull in various fleshy parts of the anatomy that have a tendency to say, hang over a belt here and there.
I am totally sure that has, what is it, compression?
Yeah.
You know it does.
Going to need a compression suit there. But originally, The Batman was supposed to be out June 25th, 2021.
So I think they were probably, if not soon, or right around filming stuff.
Oh, no, they've been filming.
They've been filming?
I actually think principal photography is over. I don't know that that's true. But the date has been moved to October 1st
of next year. For
so,
Batman?
What is that, almost 5-month delay that they put on that movie? So then let's see what else. The Flash was supposed to be out. It's not going to come out until August 1st. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. It has moved to June. Really? It actually got moved up from August 1st, 2022 to June 2nd, 2022. That feels like a made-up year. Is that even real? And then Shazam 2 has been moved to November 4th of 2022.
So the year later. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I'll say Shazam, I'm sure we talked about it, but I finally did see that and really liked it.
Was it good?
It was good.
I like the guy who's the Shazam guy.
Zachary Levi.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, I thought that was a good movie. I mean,
well, now you got plenty of time to keep watching that one.
Boy,
the second one will not be for a while.
Boy, we do. Plenty of time, Nikki.
Well, I think it's so hard because, movie studios would tell us that something was coming and you'd have a year or two from there. So, like for the Batman one, we've already been waiting on it.
Right.
So when you have so long to wait on it in the first place and then they go and push it again.
Right.
It's a really long time. You feel like it'll never come.
It's not coming out ever. Like, there's never going to be another Batman movie.
We will. Listen, we're going to have movie theaters again.
Sure we are.
Okay. There's going to be friend time at movie theaters. You get to go see these movies. They're going to come out. It'll be fine.
It's going to be great.
It'll all go back to, like, normal.
I have been thinking about going back to the Christian Bale Batman trilogy, though.
You should.
It's been a while
since
I've seen those movies, so that might be... That's something to tide me over.
He was the last one, or was there someone in between?
The Batfleck. Ben Affleck.
Oh, Ben Affleck. He was after Christian Bale.
He was. And I think he was a great Batman.
They all were. They were good.
I think that undeniably, so there were some problems, but he was a great Batman. I think that Henry Cavill's a fantastic Superman. Please bring him back. I mean, I'm sure DC's listening right now, just hanging on my every opinion.
They always want to know your opinion. I didn't tell you, but I finally watched this weekend a movie from that universe.
What'd you watch?
I finally watched Wonder Woman.
What?
I did. I finally did. I bought that when it came out. I bought it
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I'll just watch it. It had some sort of sale on it or something.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was a little slow in certain parts.
Yeah.
And I feel like I bet the newer one is a lot more flashier. Like I felt like some of the what's the word?
Effects? Special effects?
Yeah, were just a little
Oh,
lack.
you didn't think they were that good?
Yeah, some of them were not the best, but the rest it was better than I thought.
All right. I haven't watched it since it came out. Like on Blu-ray or whatever, but yeah, maybe I should go back to it. Maybe I should a lot of things.
Maybe we should. Our whole show is, maybe we should watch that again.
And then as soon as the show's over, I'm like, what?
That's fine.
Maybe we shouldn't. I mean, we did say maybe.
I was proud. I finally watched it.
You know what? Good for you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Good job.
This is the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Did Michael ever find a Nintendo Switch?
I don't know, but we heard from quite a few people. We were talking last Friday that Switches and even the light ones are pretty hard to find.
Not easy to find.
Seems like a combination of everyone staying at home and wanting to occupy the time. Maybe you didn't have a console before, but you wanted to switch. And then Animal Crossing coming out and the stimulus checks led to this big storm of like everyone buying Switches. So they were super hard to find or super marked up if you did find one. So yeah, it was hard, but I didn't hear if you found one.
I don't know. I don't know how I wanted to say.
Is it still hard to find? Have you looked it up? Have you seen it anywhere for him? Or I
haven't. I mean, when I checked in with people last week, late last week, everybody was like, no, nowhere, nothing. and I had so many people on Twitter tell me they were also looking for it. That's a little discouraging. Then you got to go brick and mortar, and you're not supposed to be going brick and mortar.
That's hard now.
And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I got to...
think a lot of the brick and mortar places just aren't carrying as much stock because it's a pickup sort of world or a shipping world, and they don't want to have too many.
So is Best Buy, you can't even go in now, can you?
No, I don't think so. You have to pick it up.
Curbside.
They throw it at you from the
Right.
door.
You roll down your window and or open your trunk, and they'll throw it in.
No, I don't know what they do, but I think it is a curbside pickup.
Yeah, okay. For the briefest of moments, I was thinking that I could go in there.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think so, but maybe. Would it make you feel better if I said maybe?
I feel so much better right now.
Oh, possibly. Maybe it'll just be open for you when you go.
Just for you.
But yeah, they're hard to find. And even the lights they're available, but they're sometimes more marked up. Just depends on where you get them from.
Right. Well, I've got a report here from Eurogamer in which Nintendo apparently has commented saying that they are ramping up production to attempt to meet demand.
To make more Switches?
Mm-hmm. Because demand, it's not just here in the United States, worldwide. Apparently, there's a demand for the Nintendo Switch, and they can't meet it currently.
I wonder what their turnaround time is. So they say, okay, they're going to start ramping up and trying to make more. What does that look like? Is that a month or two? Yeah, like, can they put together Switches, and how fast of a time to get them actually into places?
No idea. But I wonder, is it really, you listed off several, I think, contributing factors. The stay-at-home orders, Animal Crossing,
stimulus check,
extra money. So what do you think that's it? Or do you think they were just starting to run out anyway?
I think they're probably starting to run out. But I think the Switch is a very common ground sort of.
Sure.
I mean, do you call it a console? It is.
Yeah, they do.
Compared to like a PlayStation or an Xbox, where if someone's not really into gaming, they might pick the Switch over those.
Man, that thing is old now. It's like 3 years old.
Still looks good, though.
How can it be? It's not. It's not a slight.
Sure.
I just mean the idea that 3 years later, people are like, I can't find a Switch. What?
Well, you can. It's portable still too, so you can take it from the front room to your bedroom to your bathroom, and those are the only places you're going.
That's true.
You could sit outside with it, but not near anybody else.
I was always that guy. I almost always played it docked.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was playing Zelda, sometimes I would take it places, and if I found out that if in my car, not while I was driving, while I was parked somewhere, like I could fit the Switch's screen would fit perfectly in
your steering wheel?
My steering wheel. And so I could hold a controller, and I could
just sitting there.
Yeah, you could even plug it into your car sound system. And so it was just like, this is actually a great place to play games.
It was Mario Odyssey, right? Remember when that came out? How much fun that was?
Yeah.
Aw, these are good memories.
All alone in the moonlight.
Now, everybody still wants to find the Switch so they can have their own.
They want to make their memories, Nikki. They do.
We'll keep an eye out in case we do see more come in.
Well, they say they're making more.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
So I'll tell you, the new hotness that is sweeping the nation is closing school until next year.
Mm-hmm.
So California's done it, right? Michigan has done it.
Ohio's done it.
Yesterday, Ohio just jumped on board. They're like, us too, yo. No school. Well, distance learning until next year. The thing that blew my mind is I was reading about this, and yesterday, Ohio's governor, Mike DeWine, he says that they're looking at what they'll be doing in the fall. And I
don't know if you should just throw that out there.
No, I don't think so.
He should have kept that in.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, whether or not he should have said it, but I just want you to know, I just had a moment yesterday where I was just like, wait.
It's like you don't even take classes, and it seems weird.
Yeah, I'm not in school. Like, I'm not. But I was just like, wait, what? Are you saying no, maybe no school this year? The other thing they were talking about, which I read up on this a little bit, it was interesting, is that they would do this hybrid model. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's say that your homeroom is 30 people. So your homeroom might get divided in half, and then you would go to school certain days of the week.
Oh, to keep classes smaller.
So that you could actually social distance.
I see.
So they're saying, with 30, they're basically shoehorning people in because, jam
That's what schools have been doing for forever.
Right. And that is part of why schools are not opening back up, where they might say, hey, we're going to reopen, I don't know, a movie theater, but not a school. Because a movie theater, you could potentially continue to distance yourself. In school, one, they don't have the option to not go. Mm-hmm. And two, it's impossible to maintain that quote unquote social distancing. And so that's why that's part of it. But one of the options they were exploring, I don't know that, the state of Ohio did not say this specifically, but I looked into what it was. And some of what they're talking about is this idea of okay, you would do online school 3 days a week and in-person school 2 days a week.
So everybody would just kind of take certain days.
Right, and they would rotate that.
Which I know some schools actually have had to do just because of overcrowding, because they'll do a 3 and 2. So 1 week's 3 days, second day's 2. So I guess it really just depends on your area and what you have.
It's fascinating.
Everybody still feels so bad if you're a senior, and
it sucks.
Just terrible.
And I get it. You get on the other side of graduating and you're like, prom was so stupid. This was so stupid. But man, when you're in the moment,
it's sad in the moment.
You want to do that? You want to have a graduation ceremony. You want to have a grad party. You want to have prom, all of those hallmarks of being an 18-year-old in America. You want to participate in those things. They're public rituals. They're cultural. It's a big deal.
Especially when you're going through it and you just keep missing out on thing after thing after thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't know exactly where it's going to go from here. But that one.
When he said the fall.
I just.
Are we still going to be doing this in the fall?
I felt like it was just this moment of whoa. Wait, what?
Are we still going to be at home?
Well, and there's just
how's life going to look then?
That's what I was wondering.
I know, it's the question.
The other thing too is for example, okay, I only go so many places. I haven't been to the store in forever. I've been to Kroger, the grocery store. That's it. The other place I go once a week is going to church, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll start getting back together when the schools are back in session." And now I'm like. So, what, next year?
When will that ever be?
Am I ever going to see people again? Nikki, are there other people out there? Is it just you and me?
Just you and I. We're just here, and this is all we've got.
That's all there is.
Every so often, you guys chime in and text us, and I think we're all we got.
For all I know, Nikki's sending those text messages.
I just want to make sure you don't feel alone. So I've been texting you. You found me out.
I'm JC and Katie and Jerome. I'm all those people.
It's been a lot of work, but I want to make sure you feel good.
Proper planning prevents poor performance. Clearly, the riot didn't properly plan. This is the worst of the riot on RadioU.
So we're locked inside, which is leading to people cutting their own hair, cooking their own food.
Now, we can still get delivery, so it's not been the worst.
It's not as bad as you think it is. Please relax.
But we are having to cut our own hair.
Yeah.
Which is why the buzz cut is so in. So have at it.
It's back.
It is.
And who would have thought that it was out of necessity?
Well, I think it's the easiest cut for everybody to do.
Mm-hmm. Got another one for you here, Nikki. There was a guy in, where's he at in the UK? He was unable to secure a dentist appointment over the weekend for a tooth that he finally figured out had an abscess in it. It was a tooth that he had a root canal on.
Yeah.
And all of these different things. And
that must have been painful.
If his story was to be believed, he couldn't get into the dentist, and he was in so much agony, he pulled his own tooth.
Did he?
It took him almost an hour.
Oh, to get it out? Oh, that must have been so bad. What do you think he took?
Some whiskey.
Something or other.
He said he got some whiskey and went to work on the tooth.
Well, that's also to sterilize, I believe. Because in every movie that I've seen, they always grab whiskey. Not to drink it, but just to sterilize everything.
He said that...
Oh, poor guy.
He is an aircraft mechanic. He said that after he really thought about it, he's like, I probably have the tools I need to make this happen. So he said, he went ahead and got himself some whiskey. He had his son on hand in case he passed out.
Oh, And he just pulled the tooth?
Yeah.
An hour later.
So he said it was because like his face was swelling up. He said he was obviously getting a really like an infection, like something's going on.
Well, I don't know exactly like for the UK, but here a lot of dentist places are closed, but you can still do an emergency. You just have to be one at a time and you have to call and schedule it. But maybe they just couldn't get him in.
I just know that if I'm going to need a tooth pulled, you're going to have to knock me out. And I'm actually probably going to need to be out for a few days.
And just in case, so it's all healed by the time you've woken up.
And then when I wake up, I'll be like, that's funny. There's a gap there.
No, I'd still go to the dentist. I don't think I'd have enough courage to pull a tooth.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like you would have to.
You'd have to go to someone who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But maybe because he's a mechanic, maybe he just felt more confident with having the tools.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Don't go on YouTube, guys. YouTube, I said it yesterday, I think. You know, you go on YouTube and you have some tools and you get a false sense of confidence.
Sure.
Yes,
it looks doable.
They make it look like it can happen.
Yeah.
One of the things that I feel like I have learned is just that, you know, a lot of us, at least myself, like I don't work with my hands. I type, you know, whatever, but I'm talking about craftsmanship, and there is a real skill level to moving your hands the correct way. Mm-hmm. And that is a skill level that a lot of us think we have, but we don't have it.
YouTube is dangerous because it doesn't tell us no. It doesn't say, no, you're not supposed to do that.
Can.
It says, look, you can, and here's a whole bunch of videos showing you how to do it. And then you fall into that hole and you do try it.
You can do this. You can do this.
Just like the haircut. At least that one's safer.
I know that this is not a popular mainstream message, but sometimes you can't do it.
Sometimes you need to hear the no.
Sometimes.
So how's he doing, though? Did he give an update? Did he say he's pretty good? Or
he's all right.
He's okay.
He's alive.
So now you're listening to this going, well, maybe I could do it because he did it.
No. Man, unless you're on the island and your only friend is a volleyball, no. Go see a professional.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
I mean, I'm fatter now, but I'm pretty happy.